Budget cuts may be on the way for school districts in our state as they face flat state revenue, shrinking enrollment, and rising costs. Pinellas County Superintendent Kevin Hendricks says a 1% increase from Tallahassee means an overall decrease in funding for Pinellas schools. Likely, he says, in the tens of millions of dollars due to declining enrollment and increased costs. Pasco County is also anticipating an enrollment decrease. The state is projecting a dip of 660 students next year. The Hillsborough County School District aims to protect schools from the budget cuts. Spokesperson Tanya Arja says the administration is working through the numbers and will have details soon. Florida Empowerment Scholarships, which fund vouchers for families, have pulled money from public school funds. In Tampa this week, U.S. Senator Ashley Moody pushed her co-sponsorship of a bill for a national tax credit scholarship. The proposed bill would offer federal tax credits to those who donate toward options outside of traditional public schools. Mark, it's important to note that this is part of Florida's pre-K through 12th grade budget, the highest proposal in recent years, and in that it includes the $800 million to support school choice. And many parents are looking at this and saying that they want this, that they are happy about this.
So the state budget is almost $30 billion. It's going to public education. About 11% of that is now going to the voucher program based on HB1, the bill passed a couple of years ago that allows parents in school to transfer from a public school to a charter or private school. And the thing that is important to remember is the funding is also at the state level and the local level. So county by county, it's going to be a little bit different. I think Hillsborough, some of the things that have passed with regard to education help to supplement that. I have this, I don't know, I've talked to a lot of people in some of the lower economic communities. They feel very strong about the fact that they're allowed to now take their children out of failing public school and giving them an opportunity. The one thing I haven't been able to determine is it outcome based. I think that there is no evidence that I've been able to discover that shows that one way of going is another, but it certainly gives
but parents would say absolutely it does make a difference. So there's passion on both sides of the issue. Alan, on the other side, people are saying this would really hurt our schools in the public school system.
Well, I mean, I've been concerned for many years about taking money out of the public school system in favor of charter schools. And, the public schools are our crown jewel. We're already concerned about what is not being taught in the public schools, whether it is civics, which is, there are too many young people and adults who don't understand how a bill is passed by the United States Congress. So now instead of figuring out how to produce well-rounded adults, we are continuing to starve a public education system that actually needs more investment, not less.
Here in Hillsborough County, last year, voters overwhelmingly, more than 60%, voted in favor of the ad valorem tax that will help Hillsborough County public schools, and that starts July the 1st. And so the question is, will this help Hillsborough County public schools inoculate itself from some of the antics going on in Tallahassee? What do you think, Tara?
I don't think so. Listen, public schools are the nurseries of our democracy. So anytime you tinker with it, you're tinkering with the health of our democratic process, whether it's in Hillsborough, Pinellas, or any of the 67 counties in the state of Florida. And I think the real problem that we're facing is the declining population has already put the school districts at risk. We're already talking about cutting property taxes that will also help education resources. And we're starting to the debate late. We should have been having this discussion back when we put the $800 million or the original voucher program in place. Putting state funds towards faith-based institutions and private institutions might feel good and feel good to parents. and I'm a parent, and I have 4 kids, and of course want them to have the best education. But that in itself, when faith-based institutions get involved, violates that basic civic principle that if you're taught civics, you remember the letter to the Damn Dairy Baptist by Thomas Jefferson, our great architect, that said a wall of separation. So we're late to the party on this, and I think this kind of defunding of public schools is actually amplifying what we've already had a problem with diverting the resources to public schools. And the real question is, what will that mean to the difference between those that are in lower income and can't necessarily find a place for those vouchers and those that have? The have and have not. It continues to grow, and this is going to amplify it.
Mitch, do you think that voters will, in the different districts and counties, will be looking to do more at the local level to increase funds for schools?
They have shown that throughout the state. I remember writing stories going back to 2018 where almost, not every, but that year I think there was 15 to 20 referendums on this that most of them passed. Hillsborough almost won a couple years ago. You remember they did pass this last year. I think Pasco had one recently too. Local school districts may have to continue to go every few years back to the voters to ask as this gets strained. You know, Florida is the progenitor of the private school voucher movement. You go back to Jeb Bush over 20 years ago. You know, it has been, as Mark would call it, the school opportunity, the school choice movement has really, began here. And the bill they passed a couple of years ago in 2023 is this on steroids, where they didn't limit the amount of income that you had. Basically opens up for anybody and everybody. So it's a dream among some to keep this up and perhaps, to drain the public education system. And so local districts are going to continue to have to do what they have done with less potentially, and it is concerning.
Well, a lot of parents and grandparents do support school choice because it gives them a way to direct the dollars to schools that are teaching what they believe in,
especially
that are in alignment
districts
with
that
them.
are that aren't that well funded, in poor areas.
Yes.
It's just happened historically.
One of government's main functions is to cultivate an economy. And part of an economy and attracting businesses is having an educated workforce. And so we can find a sweet spot to have vouchers without draining the public school districts. We just haven't done the work.